Welcome back to the Sand and Castles Travel Show. I'm Ryan, the founder of Sand and Castles Travel Co. And today we are going to be talking about where to splurge and where to save. Whether you're planning a luxury vacation or a budget-friendly getaway, these are my opinion on knowing where to spend and where to save and how it can make or break your whole vacation. Today, I'm going to tell you where I think you should splurge and where I think it's okay to cut some corners, and tell you how to avoid getting a cockroach on your face. That story will come later. I like the concept of value travel, spending where it enhances the experience, and it's not necessarily about the price tag, so more does not equal better. And there are several factors that you need to weigh when considering this. Is it saving you time? Is it providing more comfort and convenience? And what are the overall goals of your trip? Is it a relaxation trip? Is it an adventure? Is this a bucket list experience? And what are you trying to gain out of this vacation? And a question that is important to ask before booking, will this make this part of my trip better or just shorter? Or is it just more expensive? My opinion on where to splurge on hotels. So resorts with on-site perks, like Disney, for example. Disney resorts provide an immersive on-site experience, but they also can provide you more perks getting to and from the parks and while inside the parks themselves. So while yes, a Disney resort is going to be more expensive than a non-Disney hotel or resort, it can enhance your experience. All-inclusives, cruises, where food and drinks are included in the total cost of the package, that can totally be worth it in splurging because you're going to be spending money on food anyway. If it's already paid for, already included, you're not paying anything additional for that food or for the drinks. It can be totally worth it. And then special trips where this is a once in a lifetime, this is maybe an anniversary, bucket list, birthday trip, maybe it's okay to splurge a little bit. Definitely have a budget. That's okay to have a budget and to stick to a budget. But it's different than maybe a quick weekend getaway. Now, where to save? If you'll barely be in the room because you're at a theme park or you're on a cruise and you know you're going to spend most of the time in the buffet, you could totally go with the cheaper room option. You could do the interior cabin, the interior stateroom on a cruise instead of the balcony. If it's a short stay, maybe, weekend getaway, 4 days, yeah, you don't necessarily need the nicest room, the nicest hotel. Or if it's a quick layover. Layovers, I don't love layovers when flying, but if it's a 30-minute layover and it saves you a couple $100 on plane tickets, probably worth it to save. Mid-tier hotels, I'm not talking like a Motel 6, but maybe like a Comfort Inn can definitely still provide you with a quality stay. Safe, clean, comfortable, but not going to break the bank. Now, this is my opinion when it comes to flights, where to save versus where to splurge. So maybe splurge on a direct flight if you're traveling with young kids. You don't want to be spending, a full day traveling with a crying baby on a plane. That's miserable for you. You're not going to have a great experience. Or if you have limited vacation time, if you have to be back by a certain date and just want to get the direct flight, want to get there as quickly as possible, yeah, splurge on those plane tickets. If it is a really long layover, if it's an overnight layover where you're going to have to book a room, book a hotel, it's going to cost you more anyway. So maybe don't do the overnight layover. Those are miserable for everybody. And a lot of airports don't let you sleep at the airport. They'll get mad at you. So keep that in mind as well. Or if the difference is worth the time saved. So I like to calculate the cost per hour. If, you're saving, if you're spending $10 per hour, that's not a bad rate. So yeah, if the difference is worth the time saved, instead of flying 12 hours, you're only flying 6, it's probably worth it. Save with longer routes when you have flexibility. Maybe you have a layover and you want to go explore that city and you're okay with a longer layover. Great, save some money there. Save some money on those plane tickets. Or if it's a short domestic flight or there's a small price difference, if it's, one layover, 30 minutes, it's not terrible. Now, everybody's different. Everybody has different priorities, and that's okay. So if you are like, I am not about layover, book the direct flight. Splurge there. It's all about what's important to you, what your values are, and what your priorities are. One mini tip on flights as well. Sometimes saving $100 isn't worth spending a whole day traveling or losing your sanity at 2 a.m. in the airport. If it's, not worth the extra day, not worth spending money on more food, on another hotel, whatever, maybe just book the more expensive flight. Now, time saved. Time is the hidden currency. People say it, time is money, right? Value your time as part of your budget. Your time is important. You could be spending your time doing other things besides waiting in lines, waiting in terminals, just waiting to travel, waiting to go home, waiting to get to your destination. Sometimes paying for an airport transfer instead of waiting for a taxi or an Uber can be worth it. Not always, but sometimes it is. Or, for example, early entry or like lightning lane at Disney. Do you want to spend all your time waiting in line, or do you want to be able to skip the lines? And you can pay extra to do that, and that's totally fine. It's just which is more important to you. Does it bother you to wait in lines? If not, maybe don't do the lightning lane. Or do you want to stay close to the attraction to reduce the commute time? Maybe you can book a little bit more expensive of a hotel so you don't have to rent a car and you can walk to your destination. And those are all things to consider. Maybe it's significantly cheaper to stay farther away, and even with that cost difference and having to get a rental car, it's still cheaper. And that's great. If you want to save time on commuting, that's totally fine. What is your vacation time worth per hour? Maybe it's the same as what you make hourly at your job, and that's something to consider. Now, it's really important to know your travel style. Are you a luxury traveler? Are you a budget-conscious traveler? If comfort enhances your enjoyment, whether that's on the plane, in the car, scenic train rides, ocean view rooms, great. If you're that type of traveler where comfort is important to you, that's where you should splurge. If you are the type who values the experience over the amenity, then you probably don't need that top tier hotel room. You just are there for a good time. Me, for example, when I go on cruises, I want to spend as little time as possible in the stateroom. I want to be out on the ship enjoying everything that it has to offer. I want to enjoy the food, the entertainment, the activities. Literally just want to sleep in the stateroom. And so I don't really care that it's an interior room. I don't care that there's not a window. I don't care that there's not a balcony. That's not important to me. But some people really like being able to sit on the balcony next to the ocean and relax and enjoy a book. So if that's you, that's great. I think it's important to define your non-negotiables. What is non-negotiable for you? Is it non-negotiable to wait 12 hours for a layover? Great. Is it non-negotiable to stay in a motel? Great. That is a non-negotiable for me. I will not stay in a motel. Is it a non-negotiable to have to pay for an Uber? Great. Rent a car then. And so really define what your non-negotiables are. What makes or breaks your trip for you? And then plan your budget and your trip and your experience around those non-negotiables. Now, I teased it earlier, how to not get a cockroach on your face. And this is something that has actually happened. So my husband and I went to Florida, and we were going to be there for a week. And we were staying at a beachfront property, and we decided, since it was a little bit of a longer trip for us and we wanted to stay in a beachfront property, that we were going to find the cheapest option we could so that we could spend more time there and be closer to the beach. And the place we were staying at looked nice online, had okay reviews, but it was cheap. It met what we were looking for. So the first night we were there, my husband wakes up in the middle of the night screaming, sits up, starts screaming, starts wiping at his face, and I'm like, what in the world is going on? And I see something. I mean, it's dark and I'm half asleep, but I see something out of the corner of my eye just fly across the room. I'm like, what is going on? What was that? He's screaming, there was a cockroach on my face. And as he wiped the cockroach off his face, it flew towards our open suitcase that was on the floor. Still had clothes and things in it. And I was like, oh my gosh, if there is a cockroach in my suitcase, I am going to lose it. And I'm screaming. Let's be clear, the cockroach was not on my face. I had no reason to be screaming, but then I just felt like bugs were crawling all over me. And there was a lamp next to the bed, and he turns the lamp on, and cockroaches scatter. You can imagine how I was feeling at this point. And we pick the suitcase up and we start taking everything out and shaking it just one by one to get the cockroaches out of our stuff. And so we start turning on more lights and cockroaches are just scattering. And this wasn't like a hotel where we could just go request a new room or check out and go find somewhere else to stay. Like, this was a beachfront home property that we had booked well in advance, could not cancel. So we slept with the lights on that night because cockroaches do not like light. And so we're like, we will be protected, we will be safe if the lights are on. And the next day, reached out to the host, like, hey, this is an issue. No response. Reached out again, hey, what can be done here? And basically their response was like, well, this is a beachfront property in a tropical, humid place. You should have known what you were getting into. Now, I understand that cockroaches are going to exist in a place like that. I don't want them crawling on me, on my face, while I'm sleeping. So, a big lesson was learned from that. Maybe don't go with the cheapest option. Maybe look at the reviews a little closer. A non-negotiable for me is I don't want a cockroach on my face. So I'm going to spend a little bit more on my house or my hotel room or whatever it is to make sure it's going to be clean, that it's going to be safe, and that I'm not going to get a cockroach on my face while I am sleeping. So everybody's different. Everybody has different non-negotiables. Everybody has different values when they are traveling. But I just really want to emphasize where to splurge, where to save. These are my opinions. They might differ from yours. I'm not sure what is important to you. You're not sure how to stretch your budget, want help figuring out what your non-negotiables are. Reach out and we can help you stretch your budget, figure out what works best for you, and really just plan the best vacation for you and make sure you have a great experience. We will make sure that every dollar counts towards your trip. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.